Hello classmates and instructor. My part this week in week 3 discussion 2 is negativity. I'm sorry, I just realized that my other video that I had done that took over an hour to upload apparently did not load correctly, so this will be my second take. Please bear with me. To start with, the sources of power often seen in organizations and their definitions are as follows. Individual basis of social power. Coercive power. This is when a person feels like they are being forced to do something or being told that they will be punished if they don't do as told. An example is a young intern being told by a more experienced nurse that they have to do a procedure their way or they'll be given a black mark on the report for not following their orders. Legitimate power. One has to come into power by social rank, organizational hierarchy. This also can come about by cultural values. In the medical field of physicians, you would have in the hospitals, from the lowest going up, interns, junior residents, senior residents, and consultants who are specialists that have specialties in certain areas only. Referent power. A person's personality, charisma, and how it affects the influence of another person. Wanting to please or manipulate another person. A nurse wanting to please a physician with their abilities as a nurse to be able to work for more often with them. A young physician wanting to be like or better than a physician that they are learning from. Expert power. What one believes is that another person's knowledge is vast. One physician may have more than one special area of knowledge when it comes to caring for patients than another. Reward power. When one can receive incentive rewards such as extra pay, time off, or a gift for recognition of a job well done. Also, one can receive praises of how great they are doing. Take for an example, a young intern getting praises from a senior resident on what a great job they did in the operating room that day. Leadership and power. This goes under structural power bases, which in turn you have resources, decision-making authority, and information. Under resources, you have like a healthcare vice president can approve the higher expenditure than the director when it comes to a budget. Decision-making authority is like an administrative person making decisions that must come from a required executive level for authorization. Information, this is something that's a highly desired source. A physician cannot properly treat another patient or a patient until the test results come back from the lab, from an outside source. So whoever has that information is the person that the physician really wants to speak with. Leadership power styles. Autocratic leadership is like a doctor telling a nurse what to do for the patients that day. Democratic leadership calls on everyone's opinion to analyze problems and recommend solutions for the manager to decide on. Other parts of this is organizational, political and power. This is where it comes into play of political games, and I found that the Mintzberg power game was something that's pretty much right on target When you have like insurgents, someone who resists authority, that has a negative effect on a department. Counterinsurgent, leaders fight back to defend against insurgents. This is where negativity can fall in place when you have your management trying to get staff to do a certain thing certain ways, and the staff are fighting back, and it just goes back and forth. That can have a negative effect on everyone involved. Sponsorship, getting someone to mentor them. That can be good as long as the information they receive from the mentor is used in a positive way. But if they use it in a negative way, then take for example, they found out some information about another member of the executive board, and they use that information to gain more power within the company. That can cause a negative issue. Alliance building, building support from others through peer work. That can also fall under empire building, leaders accumulating resources to build their power bases. If you use it for positive, that is great. But if you use it towards negative, that's where you're using resources ill-gottenly gained to build that power base. Budgeting, striving to increase money for their budgets. The negative part of that is when they are budgeting for money that's not used for the purpose that it was originally obtained for. Expertise, expert employing power over others. This is like when a doctor's not allowing the PA to prescribe medication to the patients. They can only see the doctor for that. And if they can never get in to see the doctor and only the PA, then that can cause a conflict. That can also cause a negative reaction for the patient not wanting to come back to that physician's office. Line versus staff, conflicts between your physicians. When you have two physicians arguing over what's best for a patient or what procedure would be best for the patient, if they do that in front of the patient, that definitely causes a negative output for the patient towards the physicians. And that can reflect also on the patient's health. Strategic candidates. That's like when your CEO of the hospital retires and the hospital must choose a replacement. If they cannot find a replacement within the hospital staff, the negative part of that is they're going to have to spend the time and the money to outsource and look for someone to come in and take that CEO's place. Whistleblowing, telling someone when someone else does something in the organization for personal use. I've seen that happen too many times when staff members would go to the supply office and pick up several things that they claimed they needed, and then those items went home with them. And then somebody told on them that, hey, I saw them taking that stuff home. That's called whistleblowing, and that can cause strife within the department, strife between those two people, and a negative effect takes place throughout the department, and one must find a way to deal with it without it causing a negative issue. Young Turks. Employees attempting to take over. I have seen that happen before. when a supervisor has been around for a good while and the younger employees feel that that supervisor needs to be removed and another one replaced in their place, but preferably one that's younger like them, so that they feel like they have someone in there that understands how they are. And I've seen that blow up in everybody's face and again cause negative reactions throughout the department and stuff. And when you try to get someone who's trying to take out somebody who's been there for a while and management feels comfortable with them, that can cause problems between the management and the staff. Now, I do apologize here. I'm trying to see where I'm at in my notes, since they got kind of messed up a while ago when I thought I had got done. One of the other areas I looked into was the Thomas Kilmann conflict styles. That was very interesting, especially the way they presented it. When you have competing, collaborating, compromising, accommodating, and avoiding. In competing, you have using it too much can cause disruption in a relationship. That's the negative effect of that. In collaborating, person could not feel like it's worth really doing anything about it because it's not an issue that has to deal with them. So, they don't feel like they should collaborate. That causes a negative output throughout a department when you're not collaborating with the rest of the team. Compromising. Compromising is kind of like when you're trying to please everyone. And this can be very time consuming. So some people are like, why bother? Why bother trying to compromise? They're going to get their way anyway. So they just don't offer to help. Accommodating. Accommodating is if one accommodates too much, then you begin to resent the other person or persons. I've seen that happen within an organization team group, sitting down trying to come to a conclusion on certain things, and several people are trying to give what they feel that the other group wants to happen, and the other group starts taking more and more, and slowly but surely this person feels like, why should I even bother? They're just going to make me do what they want me to do anyway, so why bother? Avoiding. Avoiding is like when, on the negative part of that is when a person doesn't like conflict and doesn't want to speak out and give their opinion, especially when it's something that doesn't really matter to them or don't feel like it really concerns themselves. That again can cause a negativity in a deal. And in the process of everything, I came across a deal that was very interesting, and I wanted to share that with y'all. It was when I was reading an article called "It is Too Much Conjunctive Conflict in Strategic Decision-Making Teams Too Bad," and this is by Parigium and Dooley. And what they stated was, while it is argued that conjunctive conflict enables team members to scrutinize task issues carefully and make effective decisions, effective conflict is dysfunctional because it arises from personal differences and dislikes among the members.